There are certain things you expect when you're a freelance security consultant. Weird hours? Sure. Dangerous situations? Part of the job. But a holographic elf materializing in your living room at 3 a.m.? That's a new one. I was doing what any reasonable ex-military contractor does at that hour, eating cold pizza and reviewing security protocols for a billionaire's pet llama farm when my apartment filled with the smell of peppermint and a shower of sparkles. The hologram flickered to life, revealing a diminutive figure in what looked like a high-tech version of Santa's workshop attire. Greetings, Jack Morrison. I'm Tinsel Sparklewrench, Senior Recruitment Specialist for North Pole Galactic. We've been monitoring your work, and we believe you're exactly what we need. I took another bite of pizza, chewing slowly while staring at the hologram. Right, and I'm the Easter Bunny's personal trainer. The elf's pointed ears twitched with excitement. Oh no, Mr. Morrison. The Easter Division is an entirely separate operation. Though I must say, their new workout regimen has done wonders for Peter Cottontail's cardio. That's when I knew I wasn't hallucinating. My imagination isn't nearly that specific. Call me Tank, I said, setting down my pizza. Everyone does. And you're telling me Santa Claus is real, and apparently running some kind of galactic operation? Tinsel beamed. Precisely. North Pole Galactic is the largest gift distribution network in 7 star systems. We're seeking a new chief security officer, and your experience with high-risk operations makes you an ideal candidate. My experience, I raised an eyebrow. You mean the fact that I'm from Earth? Exactly, Tinsel clapped her holographic hands. You're a Deathworlder. Ah, there it was. I'd heard rumors about how other species viewed humans. Apparently surviving on a planet with everything from mosquitoes to hurricanes made us the galaxy's equivalent of action movie heroes. So, let me get this straight, I said, leaning back in my chair. Santa needs a security expert, and you're headhunting humans, because we're basically the galaxy's heavyweight champions of survival. Well, that and the fact that you single-handedly prevented 3 hostile takeovers, stopped a quantum data breach, and Tinsel consulted a floating holographic tablet, successfully defended a billionaire's llama farm from eco-terrorists last month. The llamas were unharmed. Indeed, your combination of tactical expertise and minimal collateral damage is exactly what we need. Plus, you have an impressive tolerance for high-sugar environments. I glanced at the empty cookie packages littering my desk. That's called a sweet tooth, not a qualification. Mr. Tank, Sir Tinsel's expression turned serious, which looked odd on an elf's perpetually cheerful face. The galaxy is changing. Traditional Christmas magic isn't enough anymore. We need someone who understands modern security threats and can handle themselves in a crisis. Someone who can think outside the gift box. And what exactly am I protecting? A warehouse full of toys. Tinsel's laugh tinkled like sleigh bells. Oh no, Mr. Tank. We're talking about a space station larger than Manhattan, housing the most advanced toy production facility in the known universe, a quantum-entangled delivery system, and a workforce of over 10,000 beings from across the galaxy. Now that got my attention. 10,000. Those elves, reformed Grinches, sentient snowmen, quantum physicists. We're very inclusive. The benefits package includes unlimited hot chocolate, interdimensional travel allowance, and full dental. We really recommend the dental candy cane architecture. Looks lovely but creates occupational hazards. I rubbed my temples. This is insane. So that's a yes. I didn't say that. But you're intrigued, Tinsel grinned. Besides, when was the last time you had a real challenge? Something more exciting than protecting expensive pets from activists with too much time and biodegradable glitter bombs. She had a point. Life had gotten predictable lately. And if someone had told me this morning that I'd be considering a job offer from Santa's interstellar operation, I'd have recommended a good therapist. What's the catch? Well, Tinsel fidgeted with her hat. Some of our more traditional board members are concerned about bringing a Deathworlder into the operation. They think you might be too. Intense. I snorted. They're worried I'll what? Teach the elves Krav Maga. Actually, that might be useful. Last year, the Fun Grinch Liberation Army tried to steal our prototype fusion-powered rocking horse. I stared at her for a long moment. You know what? Fine, I'm in. At the very least, this'll make a great story if I end up in therapy. Tinsel's smile could have powered a small city. Excellent. Pack warm clothes and anything you need for personal defense. But please, nothing too lethal. We try to maintain a family-friendly atmosphere. When do we start? How about now? She tossed something that looked like a candy cane with buttons. Despite being a hologram, the object was solid when I caught it. What's this? Quantum teleporter. Press the stripe and think festive thoughts. You're joking. Welcome to North Pole Galactic, Mr. Tank. You'll find we take our jokes very seriously around here. Before I could respond, the room filled with the smell of gingerbread, and my world dissolved in a shower of red and green sparkles. As reality shifted around me, I had one last thought: my insurance definitely wasn't going to cover this. Ever had that moment when you realize your life has taken a sharp turn into the bizarre? Try materializing inside a space station that looks like someone let Willy Wonka design the Death Star. The teleporter deposited me in what appeared to be an arrival terminal, complete with signs in at least 20 different languages, some of which hurt my eyes to look at. The walls were actual candy cane striped metal, and the air had that distinct mall Santa meets spacecraft smell of peppermint and ozone. Welcome to North Pole Galactic. Tinsel appeared beside me, this time in the flesh rather than hologram. She barely came up to my elbow. What do you think? I think I'm having a sugar-induced hallucination, I said, watching what appeared to be a sentient snowman in a security uniform roll past on a hover platform. But continue. That's Commander Frost, head of operations, Tinsel explained. Don't worry about the frosty reception, he's like that with everyone. Was that a pun? We have quotas to maintain. Before I could process that disturbing information, a klaxon blared through the terminal, playing jingle bells in a minor key. A squad of elves in tactical gear sprinted past us, led by a tall, green-skinned figure carrying what looked like a candy cane sniper rifle. That's Griswold, our weapons specialist, Tinsel said cheerfully. Reformed Grinch. Brilliant with explosives, though we try not to mention that during the mental health evaluations. You give weapons to beings traditionally known for stealing Christmas. Equal opportunity employment. Besides, who better to prevent Christmas theft than someone who used to be really good at it? She had a point, though not necessarily a comforting one. Come on, Tinsel gestured for me to follow. The big man wants to meet you. We walked through corridors that seemed to defy physics, passing workshops where anti-gravity testing was being conducted on toy rockets, and what looked like a quantum physics lab staffed entirely by elves in lab coats. Through one window, I watched a team of Yeti conducting stress tests on the latest generation of game consoles by throwing them against reinforced walls. Quality control, Tinsel explained. You wouldn't believe how rough some kids are with their gifts. Is that a mechanical reindeer? Backup units. The organic ones get tired during long-distance space flights. Though between you and me, Rudolph's been a bit sensitive about the competition. Finally, we reached a massive door decorated with holographic snowflakes. Tinsel placed her hand on a scanner shaped like a Christmas tree ornament. Just a warning, she whispered. He's not exactly what most people expect. The doors slid open with a sound like sleigh bells, revealing what had to be the most high-tech command center I'd ever seen. Massive screens showed gift delivery routes across multiple star systems, quantum probability maps of who'd been naughty or nice, and what appeared to be a real-time feed of every Christmas list being written in the known galaxy. And in the center of it all, behind a desk made of crystallized starlight, sat, well, Santa Claus. Except this Santa looked more like a CEO who happened to enjoy red suits than the jolly old elf from the stories. His white beard was neatly trimmed, and he wore what appeared to be smart glasses made of ice. Mr. Morrison, his voice still had that trademark ho-ho-ho quality, but with an edge of someone who regularly dealt with interstellar logistics. Or do you prefer Tank? Please, have a seat. Cookie. He gestured to a chair that materialized out of thin air, while a plate of cookies quantum tunneled onto his desk. Thanks, I said, taking a seat but passing on the cookies. I'd learned to be careful about accepting food from magical beings. Nice operation you've got here. Indeed. Though we're facing some unique challenges. Santa's expression turned serious. The galaxy's changing, Tank. It's not enough to just make toys anymore. We need to protect the very spirit of Christmas itself. From what? Exactly. Oh, the usual. Corporate espionage, anti-joy terrorists, quantum Scrooges, the fun Grinch Liberation Army. He waved a hand dismissively. But our biggest concern is maintaining secrecy. Do you know how hard it is to hide a space station this size? About that I glanced around. How exactly do you manage it? Santa grinned. Ever wonder why telescopes never seem to get clear pictures of certain asteroids? Speaking of which. He pressed a button, and one wall became transparent, revealing a view of Earth below. The station was perfectly positioned in the asteroid belt, disguised as just another space rock. Clever, I admitted. But why do you need me? Because Santa leaned forward, his eyes twinkling with something that wasn't entirely jolly. Someone's been trying to crack our quantum gift wrapping algorithms. 3 attempts in the past month to breach our defensive Christmas magic. And last week, someone tried to hack the nice list. I whistled. That's possible. With sufficient quantum computing power, anything's possible. Which is why we need someone who thinks differently. Someone from a world where survival means expecting the unexpected. A Deathworlder, I said flatly. Precisely. Your species has a unique way of approaching problems. While we're thinking about magical solutions, you're considering practical ones. Like that incident with the llama farm. You know, for a secret organization, you people are remarkably well informed about my resume. Santa laughed, and somewhere on Earth, I'm pretty sure a few dozen bells started ringing. Mr. Morrison, we make a list and check it twice. It's kind of our thing. He stood up, his suit shimmering with what looked like the light of distant galaxies. So, ready to see what you're protecting. I stood as well, already feeling a headache forming. Do I have a choice? There's always a choice, Santa said seriously. That's rather the point of free will. But I should mention that our medical insurance covers interdimensional jet lag and exposure to astronomical levels of holiday cheer. Does it cover therapy? Full mental health coverage, including counseling for temporal displacement and existential crises related to discovering the true nature of Christmas magic. Well, when you put it that way, I sighed. Show me what you've got. Santa's grin would have put the Cheshire Cat to shame. Tinsel, please take our new chief security officer on a full tour. And Tank, welcome to the team. Try not to break too many physical laws on your first day. As Tinsel led me out, I couldn't help but notice that the cookies on Santa's desk had disappeared without him ever touching them. Either I was in for the strangest job of my career, or this was all an elaborate hallucination brought on by bad pizza. At this point, I wasn't sure which option I preferred. The first rule of security consulting is to identify your vulnerabilities. The second rule is to not have a mental breakdown when those vulnerabilities include quantum physics, Christmas magic, and a workforce that considers sugar cookies a basic food group. Absolutely not, I said, staring at the main security terminal. You cannot use Merry Christmas 123 as your master password. Candy Sugarplum, the head of RD, blinked her enormous elf eyes at me. But it has numbers in it. It's also the first thing anyone would guess. Look, I get that this place runs on holiday cheer, but your cybersecurity shouldn't. My first week as chief security officer had been interesting. I'd found pixies nesting in the surveillance systems, discovered that the quantum firewall was powered by actual fireflies, quantum ones, apparently, and learned that at least 3 different species considered candy canes viable building materials. The thing is, Griswold said, cleaning his candy cane rifle with methodical precision, traditional security measures tend to conflict with Christmas magic. Last time we installed standard encryption, it gave St. Nick's quantum list checking capabilities a migraine. I rubbed my temples. Okay, then we adapt. We need to find a way to blend conventional security with whatever this is. That's how Operation Sugar Plum Security began. First order of business, teaching basic self-defense to the elves. Have you ever tried to run a combat training session for beings who consider aggressive gift wrapping their most violent skill? It's an experience. No, I watched as another elf accidentally wrapped himself in tinsel while attempting a basic blocking move. The point is to stop the attacker, not decorate them. But what if we decorated them really aggressively, suggested one of the trainees. Next to me, Commander Frost made a sound like ice cracking. I was starting to recognize it as his version of a laugh. Perhaps the snowman said, we should focus on their existing skills. He had a point. The elves might not be natural fighters, but they were incredibly quick, surprisingly strong for their size. Centuries of toy making will do that, and had an uncanny ability to appear and disappear at will. "All right," I announced to the training group. "New plan. Show me how you deliver presents." What followed was a master class in stealth operations. These folks could enter any space, no matter how secure, leave packages and disappear without a trace. All we had to do was repurpose those skills for security. See Tinsel demonstrated by appearing suddenly behind a practice dummy. We're naturally sneaky. It's part of the job description. Great. Now instead of leaving presents, imagine you're neutralizing threats. You mean like that time we wrapped up the corporate spy in autonomous gift wrap? I turned to Griswold. The what in the what now? Oh yeah, the reformed Grinch grinned, showing slightly too many teeth. Smart paper. Detects movement and gets tighter. Very festive. Very effective. Note to self: never underestimate Christmas-themed containment methods. We made progress over the next few weeks. The elves learned to use their gift delivery skills for patrol routes. The snowmen security team discovered they could create ice slicks on command, very effective for non-lethal containment. Even the reindeer got involved, with Rudolph's nose being repurposed as a bioluminescent intruder detection system. But something still felt off. Call it military instinct or maybe just Deathworlder paranoia, but the recent security breaches seemed too coordinated. Someone wasn't just testing our defenses, they were looking for something specific. I was reviewing the latest security logs written in candy cane stripe code, because of course they were, when Candy Sugarplum burst into my office. "Tank, we've got a problem in experimental toy development." I was already moving. "What kind of problem?" "Someone's trying to hack the quantum joy matrix." I didn't know what a quantum joy matrix was, but I knew that quantum plus hack equals very bad day. We sprinted through the corridors, passing workshops where elves were stress testing the latest gaming consoles against Yeti enthusiasm. When we reached the lab, I immediately spotted the issue. The massive crystal matrix in the center of the room was pulsing with angry red light, instead of its usual festive twinkle. "What am I looking at?" I asked, watching as technicians scrambled around the crystal. "It's the source code for Christmas spirit itself," Candy explained. "The fundamental formula that lets us quantify and deliver joy. Someone's trying to corrupt it." I stared at the screens showing lines of code that somehow combined computer programming with actual magic. Can they do that? If they succeed, they could theoretically turn every gift we deliver into a source of what? Candy whispered in horror, mild disappointment. Right. In a place where joy was literally currency, that was basically economic terrorism. Trace the signal, I ordered, falling back on standard security protocols because sometimes even in a magical space station the basics still work. Already done. Griswold appeared, his green face grimmer than usual. "You're not going to like it." He handed me a tablet showing the signal's origin. I recognized the logo immediately. Toytech Industries, one of the largest toy manufacturers in the galaxy. "Well," I said, watching as the quantum joy matrix stabilized thanks to the emergency containment protocols we'd installed, "looks like someone's getting coal in their corporate stocking this year." Candy looked up from her terminal. "Actually, we switched to sustainable plasma lumps. Better for the environment." "Not the point," I sighed. "Alert Santa. Tell him we've got proof of corporate espionage, and get me everything we have on Toytech Industries." "What are you thinking?" Tinsel asked, materializing next to me. I was getting used to that. I watched as the last traces of the hack dissipated from the joy matrix, leaving behind something that looked suspiciously like digital candy cane crumbs. "I'm thinking it's time to show these corporate Scrooges why you hired a Deathworlder as your security chief." Commander Frost rolled forward on his hover platform. "Should we mobilize the tactical Tinsel team?" "Not yet," I said. "A plan already forming. First, we need to figure out what they're really after. Nobody tries to hack Christmas just for fun." As if on cue, every screen in the lab suddenly flickered, displaying a message in harsh red text: "Surrender the formula or Christmas gets it." I looked at my team: one reformed Grinch, 2 elves, and a snowman. Well, that was helpfully dramatic. Anyone know if our insurance covers saving Christmas from corporate takeover? Tinsel checked her tablet. Actually, yes. It's under miscellaneous holiday defense scenarios. Of course it was. Welcome to my life as Santa's chief security officer, where saving Christmas was apparently just another Tuesday. Here's a pro tip when someone threatens Christmas itself. They usually follow up with action. I just wasn't expecting that action to involve combat-modified nutcracker robots and what appeared to be weaponized fruitcake. The attack came during third shift because of course it did. I was reviewing security footage when every alarm in the station started playing Carol of the Bells in a minor key. Multiple breaches detected. Commander Frost's voice crackled over the comm. Enemy forces have penetrated the outer workshops. I sprinted to the security center, passing elves rushing to battle stations with far more coordination than their previous training sessions had suggested. Maybe those combat drills weren't so useless after all. Status report, I barked, entering the command center. Fun Grinch Liberation Army, Griswold growled, pulling up tactical displays. But they're using toy tech equipment. Very interesting coincidence, wouldn't you say? The screen showed multiple insertion points. The nutcracker robots were cutting through doors with laser-guided precision, while teams of what looked like corporate commandos in festive tactical gear moved in behind them. They're heading for the Quantum Joy Matrix, Candy announced, her fingers flying over her console. But that's not all. They're also targeting the Nice List servers and... oh no. What? The Reindeer launch bay. Perfect. They were after our data, our core technology, and our delivery capability. This wasn't just corporate espionage, it was a full takeover attempt. Tinsel, activate protocol Sugarplum. I designed this security response specifically for this type of situation, though I'd honestly hoped never to use it. She grinned and hit a series of buttons. Throughout the station, hidden panels opened in the candy cane walls, releasing swarms of micro-drones disguised as Christmas ornaments. Each one was equipped with autonomous gift wrap capabilities, my idea of weaponizing the elves' natural talents. Commander Frost, deploy the snowman security teams. Griswold, get your tactical teams to the Joy Matrix. Candy, lock down the Nice List servers and initiate quantum encryption protocols. The ones you designed, she asked, already typing. Yeah, let's see them hack through password requirements that include multidimensional characters. The battle for North Pole Galactic had begun. On my screens, I watched as the first wave of nutcrackers encountered our defensive measures. The gift-wrapped drones performed beautifully, encasing several robots in unbreakable paper before they could react. An elf communications officer called out. We're getting a transmission from the enemy forces. A hologram materialized in the center of the command center, showing a figure in expensive business attire with a corporate logo pin that matched Toytech's branding. This is CEO Nick Scooge of Toytech Industries, the figure announced with the smug confidence of someone who's never had to actually make toys. We are prepared to offer generous terms for your surrender. Santa stepped forward, and let me tell you, seeing Santa Claus angry is like watching a supernova wearing a red suit. You dare attack the spirit of Christmas itself? His voice carried the weight of centuries of delivering joy. For what? Profit margins. For the future, Scooge replied. Do you really think you can keep up with modern demands? Children want cutting-edge toys, not handcrafted nonsense. Surrender your quantum joy formula, and we'll ensure Christmas survives. Under proper corporate management. I'd heard enough. While they monologued, I'd been tracking the signal. Got you, I muttered, then nodded to Candy. She pressed a button, and suddenly Scooge's hologram flickered. What? What are you doing? Fun fact about quantum communications, I said, stepping forward. They're great for reaching across space, but they also leave traces, like say the exact coordinates of your command ship. The CEO's confident smile faltered. Impossible. We're cloaked. Yeah, about that. I gestured to the tactical display, where a massive shape was decloaking just off our stern. Did you really think you were the only ones who could hide a ship in the asteroid belt? The vessel that appeared was enormous, shaped like a sleigh and bristling with what looked like candy cane turrets. On its side, in cheerful letters, SS Kringle. Happy Christmas, you corporate Scrooge, I said, just before cutting the transmission. Commander Frost, light them up. The turrets fired streams of what looked like glowing snow, but was actually a very special compound we'd developed. Think tinsel meets tractor beam meets the most aggressive gift wrapping paper in the galaxy. Direct hit, Griswold reported with far too much enthusiasm. Their engines are wrapped and tagged. But we weren't done yet. Inside the station, the fighting had reached critical levels. The Nutcracker robots had adapted to our gift-wrapped drones, and were now using what appeared to be anti-festive countermeasures. They're getting close to the Joy Matrix, Candy warned. Time for Plan B, I announced. Tinsel, initiate code mistletoe. She looked at me in shock. But sir, that protocol hasn't been tested. No time like Christmas present. Throughout the station, hidden speakers began playing the most dangerous weapon in our arsenal, a quantum-enhanced mashup of every Christmas song ever written, specifically engineered to target the frequency of Toytech's control signals. The effect was immediate. The Nutcracker robots began to falter, their combat protocols confused by the overwhelming surge of holiday spirit. Several began doing the Macarena. It's working, Candy exclaimed. The quantum harmonics are disrupting their neural networks. But Scooge had one last trick up his corporate sleeve. A massive explosion rocked the station, and warning lights flashed across our displays. They're making a run for the Reindeer Bay, Commander Frost announced, using some kind of quantum tunneling device. I grabbed my tactical gear, specially modified with both human and Christmas tech. Not on my watch. Griswold, you're with me. Tinsel prepped the emergency response sleigh. The prototype, she asked. But it hasn't been cleared for combat operations. Neither was I when you hired me, I replied, checking the charge on my candy cane stun baton. Sometimes you have to improvise. As I headed for the launch bay, Santa's voice came over my comm tank. Whatever happens, the spirit of Christmas must be protected. I grinned, watching Griswold load his rifle with what he called special delivery rounds. Don't worry, sir. I think it's time these corporate Grinches learned why humans have a reputation in this galaxy. The next few minutes would determine the fate of Christmas itself. No pressure. The prototype combat sleigh looked like something out of a sugar-rushed engineer's fever dream. Candy-striped armor plating, quantum reindeer power cores, and enough firepower to make a battleship blush, all wrapped in a paint job that could give you cavities just looking at it. Please tell me this thing's been test-flown, I said, strapping into the pilot's seat. Griswold checked his weapons systems. Define tested. That's not reassuring. If it helps, the simulation elves only crashed it 3 times out of 10. It doesn't. We launched from the emergency bay, the sleigh's engines humming with what sounded suspiciously like jingle bells played through a particle accelerator. Behind us, the station's defenses were holding, but barely. Time was running out. Target vessel attempting to quantum tunnel, Tinsel's voice came over the comm. They've got a stolen Joy Matrix prototype. Not for long, I muttered, pushing the sleigh to maximum speed. The asteroid belt around us became a blur of rocks and space debris. Griswold, you said those special rounds of yours pack a punch. The reformed Grinch's grin was positively radioactive. Concentrated Christmas spirit with a quantum destabilization core. One hit, and their systems will be singing carols for a week. Perfect. Target their engine core when we get in range. The Toytech ship was just ahead, its engines glowing with an ominous red light as they prepared to jump. We had maybe 30 seconds before they vanished with enough Christmas technology to corporatize the holiday season forever. That's when I did something that, in retrospect, was either brilliant or criminally insane. Hold tight, I warned, throwing the sleigh into a barrel roll that no normal pilot would attempt in an asteroid field. And maybe say a prayer to whatever deity handles crazy humans in experimental Christmas vehicles. I pushed the craft into a series of maneuvers that would have made real reindeer file for workplace compensation. The sleigh responded like a dream, darting between asteroids with milliseconds to spare. Are you insane? Griswold shouted, his green face looking slightly paler. I'm a Deathworlder, I replied, executing a turn that probably broke several laws of physics. We thrive on this stuff. We came up under the Toytech ship just as their quantum drive began to spin up. Perfect firing position. Now. Griswold opened fire, sending streams of weaponized holiday cheer straight into their engine ports. The effect was spectacular. Their entire drive system began sparking with red and green energy, and what sounded like Deck the Halls began broadcasting on all frequencies. Direct hit, Griswold crowed. Their quantum matrix is destabilizing. But Scooge wasn't done yet. The corporate ship's weapon ports opened, releasing what looked like explosive fruitcakes. Evasive maneuvers, I yanked the sleigh into a dive that sent us skimming along the surface of an asteroid. Who weaponizes fruitcake? To be fair, Griswold said. Returning fire, regular fruitcake is already pretty weaponized. The battle that followed would have made Top Gun pilots question their career choices. We danced through the asteroid field, trading fire with a corporate warship while Christmas music played in surround sound. Just another day at the office. Their shields are down, Griswold reported. But they're still trying to jump. I keyed the comm. Candy, remember that quantum frequency trick we discussed? The one you said was too crazy to try. The one that could theoretically turn their entire ship into a giant Christmas ornament. That's the one. A pause. I'll need 30 seconds and enough power to light up half the galaxy. Done. I switched channels. Santa, sir? We need a power surge. Something jolly. Santa's voice came back instantly. Ho, 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 ho. The sound rippled through space like a wave of pure Christmas spirit. Every system on our sleigh lit up like a supernova wrapped in tinsel. Now, Candy. A beam of pure quantum-enhanced Christmas cheer shot from the station, catching the Toy Tech ship just as it tried to jump. For a moment, everything seemed to freeze. Then, "Happy holidays, you corporate monsters," Griswold whispered. The enemy ship transformed before our eyes, its military hardware transmuting into festive decorations. Weapon ports became candy canes, hull plating turned into gingerbread, and their quantum drive crystallized into what looked like the world's largest snow globe. Through it all, Scooge's voice came over the comm, becoming increasingly desperate. No. The profit margins. Think of the shareholders. Funny thing about Christmas, I transmitted back. It was never about the profits. The now thoroughly festive corporate vessel hung in space, completely immobilized by quantum Christmas spirit. Inside, according to our scans, the entire crew was experiencing an overwhelming urge to sing carols and drink hot cocoa. Target secured, I reported to base. Though I think we may have overdone it with the decorations. Nonsense, Santa's voice came back, filled with satisfaction. I'd say it's just festive enough. As we guided our sleigh back to the station, Griswold looked at me curiously. You know, for a Deathworlder, you handle Christmas combat pretty well. I shrugged, watching the stars twinkle in decidedly more festive patterns than usual. Maybe because on Earth, holiday shopping isn't that different from combat training. We'd won this battle, but something told me the war for Christmas wasn't over yet. After all, Toy Tech couldn't be the only corporation eyeing Santa's operation. But that was a problem for another day. Right now, we had a station to repair, employees to calm down, and about 10,000 incident reports to file and triplicate. Hey, Griswold, I said as we approached the landing bay. Think we can expense all this as seasonal decorating? His laughter echoed through the sleigh all the way home. The aftermath of what became known as the Great Corporate Kringle Crisis was interesting, to say the least. Turns out, when you transform an entire corporate warship into a giant Christmas decoration, there's quite a bit of paperwork involved. So I said, reviewing the damage reports in Santa's office a week later. Good news and bad news. Santa looked up from his quantum tablet, his beard slightly singed from helping with repairs. Let's have it. Good news, Toy Tech's board of directors has voted to remove Scooge after what they're calling an unauthorized festive incident. Apparently, turning your flagship into a giant snow globe is bad for investor confidence. And the bad news. We're going to need a bigger insurance policy. Also, several of the Nutcracker robots are still doing the Macarena. Candy says the quantum Christmas music might have been a bit too effective. Santa laughed, and somewhere in the galaxy, I'm pretty sure several stars twinkled in harmony. A small price to pay for saving Christmas. Though I must admit, your methods were unconventional. You hired a Deathworlder, I reminded him. Unconventional is what you signed up for. The past week had been busy. We'd upgraded all security systems with what I called tactical Christmas spirit, a blend of human military protocols and holiday magic that even Commander Frost had to admit was effective. The elves had taken to their new combat training with surprising enthusiasm, especially after discovering they could weaponize gift wrap techniques. Tank Tinsel burst into the office, her pointed ears practically vibrating with excitement. "You need to see this." She projected a hologram showing news feeds from across the galaxy. The sight of a corporate warship transformed into a Christmas decoration had gone viral. Comments were flooding in from thousands of worlds. Finally, someone stood up to corporate Christmas. "Best light display ever. Is that fruitcake armor plating?" "We're trending on Galactic," Tinsel announced proudly. "The marketing department says we couldn't buy this kind of publicity." "Speaking of departments," Santa said, his eyes twinkling, "I believe it's time we made some organizational changes." He stood up, his suit shimmering with starlight. "Tank, how would you feel about a permanent position? Not just security chief, but head of our new tactical joy distribution division." I raised an eyebrow. "You're militarizing Christmas." "Not militarizing. Modernizing. The galaxy's changing, and so must we. But we'll do it our way with both security and spirit." I looked at Tinsel's hopeful face, thought about the strange family I'd found here among elves, reformed Grinches, and sentient snowmen. "Well," I said, "someone has to keep you people from using Merry Christmas 123 as a password." "Excellent," Santa clapped his hands. "Now about your first major assignment." That's how 3 weeks later I found myself piloting a quantum-enhanced sleigh through an asteroid field, leading a squadron of combat-trained elves on Christmas Eve delivery runs. "A package secure in Sector 7, Griswold's voice crackled over the comm. "Though we may need to explain to that family why their presents are singing carols." "At least they're not doing the Macarena," I replied, checking our next delivery coordinates. Commander Frost's voice cut in. "Movement detected in Sector 12. Corporate scouts." "I see them," I said, watching several ships trying to be stealthy about following our delivery routes. "Tinsel, show them why we installed the new defense systems." A moment later, the corporate ships found themselves wrapped in quantum-enhanced tinsel and broadcasting jingle bells on all frequencies. "Congratulations," I transmitted to them. "You're now part of our holiday light display." The night continued like that, delivering joy across the galaxy while fending off the occasional corporate espionage attempt. Just another day at North Pole Galactic. Later, as we headed back to base after the last delivery, I watched Earth rotate below us, thinking about how much had changed since that strange night when a holographic elf appeared in my living room. "Penny for your thoughts," Tinsel asked, materializing in the co-pilot seat. "Just thinking about how weird life is," I replied. "A year ago I was protecting billionaires' pets. Now I'm defending Christmas itself with quantum-enhanced candy canes. Having second thoughts." I looked at my tactical display, where reports were coming in from across the galaxy, millions of children waking up to find presents under their trees, their joy registering on our quantum sensors as tiny bursts of pure Christmas spirit. "Nah," I said, plotting a course back to our asteroid headquarters. "Though I do have one question." "Yes." "Does the dental plan cover cavity protection? Because I'm pretty sure all this exposure to candy cane architecture is going to catch up with me eventually." Her laughter echoed through the sleigh as we flew home through the star-filled night, our sensors alert for any more corporate Grinches who needed a lesson in the true meaning of Christmas. Just another day in the life of Santa's chief security officer. And you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way.